The mammalian dive reflex exists in humans as a response to the stimuli of drowning. The human mammalian dive reflex has been described as a hibernation as the body conserves energy and the brain enters a coma. In children, the mammalian dive reflex has a higher chance of being successful in keeping them alive. Children's bodies are smaller and they're able to cool quicker, which allows their heart rate to slow sooner and for them to start conserving oxygen and energy sooner. Children can also absorb more oxygen into their bloodstream, allowing them to preserve it for longer periods of time. Lastly, useful tissue can recover better from oxygen-related stress, which allows children to go through these drowning experiences and survive with no mental damage.
What seals go through the mammalian dive reflex frequently because they use it when they hunt. For what seals, the mammalian dive reflex happens very similarly to humans, but on a greater scale. Like humans, blood flow to non-essential parts of the body ceases, heart rate slows, blood vessels constrict, and unnecessary processes stop. Oxygen in muscles and bloodstream are preserved, and blood oxygen is redirected to brain and heart. Differences in the mammalian dive reflex for what seals include shutting down organs, like the kidneys, entirely which do not occur in humans.
After having gone into the mammalian dive reflex and having no heart rate for 50 minutes, Gore Otteson was resuscitated. During his time in the hospital, his brain was put into a hypothermic coma. This is when all the oxygen was being directed towards his brain, and this allowed it to recover from the lack of oxygen. When Gore was finally able to be warmed up, the medical professionals had to do it slowly to avoid releasing the buildup of lactic acid into his blood. After Gore's recovery, he was released from the hospital with no brain damage because of the human dive.
Produce lactic acid as a waste product when you are metabolizing food. When the body is in the mammalian dive reflex, your metabolism shuts down, which prevents lactic acid from being produced. However, some parts of the body still produce it, and this can cause a buildup because the organs that get rid of lactic acid aren't being put to use. If someone is hypothermic and has a buildup of excess lactic acid and is warmed up too suddenly, the lactic acid can go into their bloodstream and acidify it, which can cause death. In order to prevent this, people who are hypothermic are warmed up again gradually so that lactic acid is not released at once.